We are live. I've got good news. I've got two guests, and both of them are actually humans that don't make those horrible noises and all the things. So if you're here for two streams in a row, thank you, and I'm sorry. Lynn from the Lynn Project, my co-host on Creator Talk. She's here every Sunday. She's awesome all the time. Josh from PPP. You know what I discovered today? Your channel name's too long to put on dang thumbnail, which is funny. I'll have to ask you about that because you, my man, are my favorite thumbnailer.
I like that. I like that term.
With that, in all of the Disneyland. So let's say, in all of the Disneyland. I think it's good that we have a guest tonight, Lynn, because I think the more talking I'm doing, the less making sense I'm doing. Rob W. in the house. So Funny Studios in the house. You know what? That is so funny. It's so funny. Viapre Pod Projects in the house. Blame 2007 in the house. Adults in Disney. Thanks for saying yes. You know what I'm talking about. In the house. Magical News Live. First, he was first, and he's also still here. Samantha Low. Sandy Norris. JLB Nerdy. Who else? Am I missing people? Stacy Rogers, who will be my guest next Sunday on DisTube. Guaranteeing it's better than the mess that we just had. Bill Steffen in the house. Donna Jaworski in the house. It bounced a little. I may have missed you, LSU Mom. Hello. Alex Bruner. Hello. So we're going to talk about a couple things. And honestly, every show I talk about that I do, I try to keep it to an hour. This one, I don't worry about it so much. So whatever you guys want to do, I don't have to go to work tomorrow because, you know. But anyway. But,
I mean, technically, this is where I work. So, I mean.
I know. Well, that's one of the reasons why you're here tonight. So I'm not joking when I say that Josh's – two things I want to say. Josh's thumbnails are my favorite in our Disney community by far. Don't take that personally if you're not, Josh. But his are better than yours unless you're him. There's a bunch of things that are out there, but his are my favorite. Number two, you kind of do this for like real. So we're gonna talk about two things, but let's go into thumbnails. You kind of like went to, you filled your brain with knowledge about this. Yes.
Yes, I am a career graphic designer.
So for those of us in the I don't know what graphic designer world is, tell me what you do as much as you want to tell us in real life.
So I work with multiple clients, like the local city I work in, the county I'm in, some different big clientele, and I create logos, ads. I mean, you name it. If it's got graphics on it, I've probably made it. Web ads, websites, cover photos, thumbnails. The sky's the limit, and I've been doing it for over 10 years now.
Wow. So did you, when you went to school, did you know that's what you wanted to do, or how does one get into that world? I run a nonprofit, and on occasion we would hire people who do what you do because I don't know how to do it. But how does one get into that world, I guess?
So, it's kind of an interesting story. So when I was in high school, I was very much into tattoo art. Traditional tattoo art. With you being from California, you're probably well aware of seeing some of that.
Some of my best friends are tattoo freaks, so yes.
Yeah, and so that was kind of like in school, I sketched tattoo art. Like I didn't listen to the teachers, I just sketched. And from there, it kind of turned into how can I take this hobby and turn it into a career. And when I was enlisted, I kind of played around with it, and I ended up at art school majoring in graphic design.
Wow.
And graphic design is very much a field where it is skill-based, and it's not so. And on top of skill-based, it is what's your portfolio look like? Like, how long have you been in the industry? Yes, having a degree helps, but it's one of the.
Does it?
I mean, it can, but it's your portfolio they look at before they look at a degree.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I fell. I got a really great entry position with a company, started there, and just kind of kept growing. And now I do my own thing. I'm self-employed and have some great clients, and I'm super grateful for those clients.
So when you get into it, you probably give away a little bit of your skill set to build up a portfolio.
Yeah. You see a lot of that when you build your portfolio in art school. A lot of that is projects you've worked on. So they'll put you through some projects, creating, logos for a make-believe company or whatever. But it's interesting though, because I like to give away projects just because I like to give away projects. So I like to sow seed. and help people. And some of the people in this community probably know some of our friends, mutual friends. I've even created a logo for Lynn, and she didn't even ask for one.
She was more like it. Well, but the reason I ask is, how do I say this? I mean, so like, I don't know how to do thumbnails. All I know. So when you guys dive into this. After I say this, tell me if you agree or disagree. When I started this YouTube journey, there's so much to learn, and there's still so much to learn, right? And so you can only learn what you learn. Like if you decide to spend 8 hours a day, you got 8 hours a day, and building community, editing, lighting, audio, thumbnails. I mean, thumbnails are so vital. But I got to be honest, I on purpose, probably a mistake, but I on purpose decided I'll just go with what I've got, and I'll try to get better slowly, and I'll work on other things. Which, if I could do it over again, I would have started with learning, thumbnails, but I didn't. Yeah. And now I'm in a hole where I'm like, well, I really don't know what I'm doing. Do I farm it out? Do I pay somebody? Do I spend the time to learn it? Do I buy? Well, I should. Lynn, you dive in before I ask Josh to respond to that. How do you go about your thumbnail creation? I mean, it's an important freaking thing. I mean, there's only 2 ways they're going to decide to click: the title and the thumbnail. I mean, so how do you do it? And then I'll ask Josh, and then I'll shut up and let Josh teach.
So it was funny because today Josh shared something with me, and he showed how you can make an easy, awesome thumbnail on Canva, which is what I've been using. Okay. From day one is Canva. I haven't upgraded it yet, but I think I'm going to go ahead and try the trial. But yeah, mine don't look anything like Josh's. So I'm clearly doing something wrong, and we all have something to learn from him. But that's what I've been doing. I've been dabbling in different theming and trying to figure out what looks best to be more clickable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not there yet. So
what I'd like to do, I'd like to turn over to Josh, and really, whether you tell people what you do or whether you tell people what you suggest, whatever you prefer, all of it, both of it would be very, very valuable. Like maybe what you do, honestly, what you do might be something we can't get to, maybe because you have, both the education, the experience, and then maybe even the hardware or the software. I don't really know what you're going to say. So there you go. Go ahead.
Well, so I think people, for one, when they start a YouTube channel, and listen, some people don't use thumbnails, and that's their opinion. My opinion is the opposite. Yeah, there's some people that don't use thumbnails. They just, post their video up and there's no thumbnail.
Oh, you're right.
But for me,
for anybody out there, that's a mistake. Just saying.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do that personally. So basically, let's get into, what exactly is a thumbnail, right? So, like if you're going through a bookstore and there's books and they have no cover, it's going to be a little bit confusing, right?
I mean, when I take off my shirt and my hair's flowing, what would I do? I wouldn't have a job.
And so you're let's use this bookstore analogy, and you're going through there, and okay, now let's say you found some with a cover, and you got one that's really colorful, really bright, really intricate, and then you got one that's just plain white and it's got the title on it. Well, just like the old saying goes, you judge a book by its cover, and it's the same thing with thumbnails.
That's good.
When you're going through and you're making your thumbnail, I think a lot of people, it's an afterthought. They put all this work into their content, which is the inner pages of the book. But if you're not selling up front your thumbnail,
right,
or selling with your thumbnail, then what are you doing? Because you're not giving. Let's say your product, your YouTube video is a rocket ship, and that thumbnail is the initial fuel to get it off the ground. You're not giving it that initial fuel to get off the ground if you don't create a good thumbnail.
I mean, if you're just creating for you and you want your Aunt Trudy and your grandma to watch it, that's one thing. If they're already subscribed and that's all you're creating for, that's fine. But if you want to grow, if you want people who you don't currently know to see your stuff, there's thumbnails and there's titles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be so complicated. If you're looking at this from a marketing perspective, you want a very attractive thumbnail, right? And I think that more times than not, people are trying to throw the kitchen sink at their thumbnail. And like, what can I add to this thumbnail to make it even more interesting?
not a little Easter Bunny, Donald Duck thing. Throwing that up there.
And so it's really simple. And there are some free apps. Like you don't have to even do it on a computer. I do mine in Adobe Illustrator, which is what I used to design with. That's way over anybody's head. Unless you work with that program, you're going to just be drowning.
Is because it's so robust?
It's very robust. It's a very powerful program, but it's way more than you need for this.
How does it compare to, say, a full-featured, what's the photo app? Photo editing app?
Photoshop.
How does it compare to Photoshop in ease of use, learning, whatever?
They're about the same because they're made by the same company. And these programs, InDesign, Illustrator, Photoshop, they're all made to work hand in hand. But you don't need that to make a good thumbnail.
The Adobe Suite you're talking about.
Yes. So you can download a free app, and I'll show you here in a moment a thumbnail that I made with a completely free app. Canva is what I used on my phone last night, laying in bed watching The Office.
Great show, by the way. I love it.
So it's super easy, and Canva makes it, and there's other ones, but Canva's what I used, and they already have the template made out the size that you need. Super easy. Exactly. Richard, the Orlando guy, he nailed it right on the head. Illustrators for vector art, Photoshop is for raster art.
Too, by the way, I love it.
And they work hand in hand. Okay. And so when I'm making a thumbnail, I want it to be bright, bold, and legible.
Okay, bright,
those three things.
Bold, legible.
Right. So that means I'm focused on how easy is it to read. And a thumbnail, so like when I design a billboard, or when billboards are designed, you typically see billboards on the interstate, right? And those are made to be read easily going by them at 70 miles an hour or faster.
Right.
And so that's exactly what a thumbnail is it's a smaller billboard, because all YouTube is a marketplace where you're scrolling past videos. So you want something that's, again, bright, bold, and legible, so it's easy to see and quick to read when they go by it. That doesn't mean that you need to put your entire title on your thumbnail.
I was going to ask you, do you always put your title on your thumbnail?
I'll put like if you go back and you look at any of my thumbnails that I've done, some of mine aren't so complex. There's a portion of the title on there. That's why they give you the title section, is to put the title. Sure. You need to have something on there, but it doesn't need to be your full. It doesn't need to be your full title, because.
Do you always put text on your thumbnails?
Yes.
Should you?
I think you should.
Okay. See, that's what I need to know.
I think you should, and again, it doesn't have to be a lot. It's short and sweet is what it needs to be.
Yeah.
Because if you put too much, people, this sounds kind of bad, but people in general, especially in today's age on YouTube, their time is money, and they don't really want to put a lot of effort into reading what you've put up. And if you've got a professional looking thumbnail, chances are they're going to click on that thumbnail to see the video behind it. Before, like, you can have the most well-made video, but if you don't have a great thumbnail, they don't know that it's a great video. Yeah. They've got to get into that video to see that it's great.
A great video in the world, but if your thumbnail sucks, why would they click on it?
Right.
Exactly.
It's the greatest video.
Right. And so with the thumbnail, so now we've got the app, right? And we know we need to have short, sweet text, and it's got to be bright, bold, and legible. So now you're thinking colors, right? So it doesn't need to be a lot, but it needs to be bright. That's where the bright comes from. And the bold adds to the legibility and the brightness. So, if you're scrolling and everything's kind of muddled up colors, but then you see something that's red with white text and it pops, that's catches your eye, right? And let's say you use a really attractive image. It's bright. It's got a smile on it. If it's your face, or let's say it's, Cinderella Castle, and it's a great looking image. That's what you want to use. And you place those to where they're balanced. You don't want one overpowering the other.
Yeah. So
you don't want like this image and then this little tiny text over here on the side. They need to kind of match up. And that's attractive, right? Like, I mean, you're thinking about that and you're, visualizing it. it's pretty easy to visualize that it's going to pop. So I'm going to show you guys this one that I made with Canva.
Please.
Let's see if I can get up to share my screen.
This is such good stuff, guys. If you're just, while we're waiting for him to pull it up, by the way, you can't hit the 3 little dots anymore, but he is Josh, and he's from Practically Perfect Parkhopping. I'm going to drop his link right now. You definitely want to go check out, not only just to check out the thumbnails we're talking about, but to check out his site. It's amazing. And obviously, Lynn, the Lynn Project. Mods, if you drop both of their links, that'd be great. I'm dropping Josh's right now. Give him some love. Check out these links. All right, what do you got for us, buddy? Here, I'll put it right on you.
Trying to share my screen here. Oh, interesting.
Which Josh taught me how to do that the other day.
So apparently, StreamYard has lost permission to capture my screen.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I've done that like twice, and I'm never confident I'm doing it right. So I got to use.
So this is what I'm going to do. Just give me a moment, please.
You do you. So guys, well, you know what? This is a good time to talk about my sponsor. How about that? So guys, I am blessed to have a friend and a sponsor of this show. They sponsor both of my Sunday shows. It's Bill from Magic of the Mouse TV. Check out this week's Magic of the Mouse podcast, episode 24, with their special guest, who, Lynn?
Me!
Oh, Lynn from the Lynn Project. I've heard of her. She's pretty cool. And coming this Wednesday, episode 25. Who the heck will that be, Josh?
Me.
That was not enthusiastic.
And we didn't even plan that. You can tell by the delay. Where they'll be discussing Disney's Secret Society, the SEA, Society of Explorers. And
we will.
Awesome. The intros alone are worth the video, but stay for the whole video. They're awesome. And if you could, and I just need to mention, today they posted on their Magic of the TV YouTube channel a relaxing day at the Magic Kingdom. He doesn't put it in the ad, but I'm going to put it in there. Thursday nights on my channel, we do a baseball show. It's awesome. I see that I need to click the button. How about now? There we go.
Okay, so I made this in Canva.
I like it.
I took that image off of Lynn's Instagram. And these are all free things on there. I don't have the paid version. I completely.
And again, this is Canva, or is this Adobe Spark or Adobe?
I made this in Canva.
Canva, okay.
Wait, that picture's on my Instagram. I took that one.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. I don't remember.
Pretty good there.
And so, let's look at this balance, right? You've got the bright Mickey there. You've got Creator Talk, big and bold. And then, they need to see Creator Talk. The hosted by, they'll figure that out. That's the little tidbit that they'll figure out. They're not going to look at that to click this. So it's not important. So it's down in the bottom. It's the big red Creator Talk, the contrast there. It's legible. You can see it quick. All made in Canva, right?
I love it.
And that you don't have to add a lot to that. See, it's pretty simple. It's 3 colors, a picture, and then I put that bar at the bottom. You don't have to put a lot of thought into your thumbnail. You do need to make it attractive, but it doesn't have to be so complicated. And I think that's where they get overwhelmed, right? And it's easy to get overwhelmed, but it doesn't have to be difficult. And I will say, I stress bright, and that's because, yes, exactly, Donna, simple is better. And I think that me personally, especially in this community, and it depends on what topic your video is on, of course, I definitely curve mine to whatever the topic is, but I always lean towards bright and attractive, because happy attracts happy, and I want happy people in my chats or in my comments. And so that's why I always try to make them bright colors. If you go through, you'll see I always use bright blues, bright greens. And that's,
is there some magic to the colors that you're picking? Are they just personal preferences?
There are color. There is a such thing as color psychology.
There is,
but no. Typically, when I'm making a thumbnail, I'm not really diving into color psychology. That's more for logos. And you'll notice I don't add logos on many of my thumbnails, because if they're going to click it, they're not going to click it for my logo. They don't know who I am. They're going to click it for what the thumbnail is.
Unless they're or like Copy and Contemplation's a show that they know.
Exactly.
The regularity, is that a right way to say it, of your awesome
that's my next point.
Okay, I'll shut up.
So my next point is, all right, so now you've got, you want a balanced thumbnail. You want a bright, bold, and legible thumbnail. But what you also want is a consistent thumbnail, because what consistency gives you is it adds some foundation to your branding and it adds some familiarity. So most of my thumbnails are not exactly the same, but you can tell my thumbnails from other people's thumbnails because I always use the same fonts.
Yes.
And I always use somewhat of the same layout. So they're always pretty balanced. They're always the same kind of fonts, unless it's something special.
Changing it up, but using the same aspect. I don't know if I'm using the right words there.
Right. And that's where you get your fonts. So fonts become part of your brand. So if you're looking at a branding guide of a logo for a big company, they're going to have set fonts that they use. I've set fonts for my channel.
Sure.
And when you're building your thumbnails, you want to use kind of the same fonts. And you don't need to put all that content in there because you want them to see those fonts. You want it to be big, bold, again, legible, and it makes for a familiar, friendly thumbnail. Now, if you're doing something like a show, such as this show or our Coffee and Contemplation, you'll notice that I keep aspects of them the same, whether it be colors, whether it be fonts. We've had 3 different Coffee and Contemplation thumbnails that we've used. I've started to try to change them up a little bit, but you'll notice I try to keep the same colors. When we finally came out with our Coffee and Contemplation branding,
you don't have to say we. It was all you.
Well, we as a partner channel show, well, I kept the same colors because it's important to keep that consistency.
Yeah, I love it.
So,
oh, that's great. I mean, I'm not looking at it and I have it in my head. Now, obviously, I go watch the show every week, and you've been on for I don't know how many months. So some of that is familiarity. But and that brings me, and JLB Nerdy's got a great question up there. But that brings me, I'm the host, so I'm gonna ask my question first. How do you feel about the people? I feel like the YouTube community, especially new creators who are getting rolling, they changed their YouTube name, they changed their font, they changed their style. I mean,
I think that's fragile ground, because what you're building when you're building a YouTube channel,
you're almost starting over if you do that, right?
What's that?
You're almost starting over. You're almost
exactly.
Yeah, whatever you've grown with is kind of irrelevant. You let it go.
Yeah.
Right. So like if I went tomorrow and I changed my logo and I changed my channel from Triple P to Triple Z, nobody's going to know who in the heck I am.
I mean, all the branding you have you have the long name, Practically Perfect Parkhopping. You have PPP, you have Josh, your personality, and you have the basic look of your thumbnails. If you're switching it up all the time, I mean, I guess if you're trying to capture, like for me, the thumbnails do 2 things. They tell your regular viewers, the current fans you have, your closest knit, they're going to watch most of your stuff, people. Hey, when it comes up on the screen, hey, I know that guy, I know that channel, I know I'm going to like it. But then there's the little bit of the fishing, trying to get, we're not only talking to the people we already have. Hopefully we're talking, I want it to be searchable, right? I want people who don't know me to go, oh, hey, let's check out, Creator Talk. There's Mickey, and oh my gosh, what a great picture. And Dole Whip Dad's an idiot, but that Lynn's nice. Let's go check it out. Part of it is for the regularity, but part of it is fishing. So
exactly. And here's the thing, you can always improve yourself, but if you've decided on a name and that's your brand, I would ride that out until you've built a strong community where you can phase in a new brand. You don't need to just change it, because once you change it, then you confuse everybody and you've lost half your community with one swipe of a mouse.
Or even if you didn't lose them, they don't know that that's you anymore, right?
Right. Then you're confusing them. So
they might love you and see your thumbnail and not recognize it. And move on.
So let's call, since this is Creator Talk, let's call your community your Baby Yoda, right? And you're Mando, you're the Mandalorian. You have to care for your community. Okay. And you don't want to give any negative connotation to your community. You don't want to confuse your community. You have to treat your community like they're a toddler. Not that you guys are toddlers, but subliminally, they're not gonna, it's just gonna make them confused. Like they're gonna have to go find you. Nobody wants to have to go find somebody if you've changed your name. You need to make things as easy as possible. That's why it's important your card that you include into your video. That's why you make your thumbnails legible and easy. That's why you add an end screen where there's videos for them to click on. That's easy.
Yeah.
That's why you tell them, hey, like, subscribe, ding the bell, because it's easy. You're telling them what to do, basically. Not that they're not intelligent, but sometimes
you're making it easy for them to know if they're looking for you. I mean, you don't want to make it. It's not hide and seek, man. It's
exactly.
Be big and bright.
Exactly, and it's basic marketing.
Yeah.
In marketing, you have to show people. You have to basically tell people what they want, right? And that's
you want to subscribe to all the channels that are on the screen.
So, thumbnails are important. They're not hard. And I know you guys are probably saying, well, that's easy for you to say. You do it for a living.
I mean, a little bit. Yeah.
Well, as long as you balance things out and pay attention to, I wish I could just like point to it, but pay attention to your gaps and how, like, don't make, your letters too small, make your words large enough where they're easy to read, make them balance with your phone.
You gotta remember that most people, a lot of people, maybe most people are looking at it on their mobile phone.
Exactly.
Right.
So on your phone, when you're looking at Canva, it shows you the screen you're working on, and and it gives you your screen size, your thumbnail size. It gives that to you. That's easy. And then you're just basically think of it like a puzzle. You're placing things and you're giving things room. You want to give your graphics, whatever they are, whether it be words, logo, room to breathe. You don't want to stack them on top of each other.
I do that. I've got to get off of that. That's good. A lot of great comments, Donna. Exactly. JLB Nerdy's had this question for a while. It's thumbnail related. It's more of a copyright question, but I'll give it to you, and I have an opinion too. But so, is there copyright concern with it having Mickey or characters? I was listening to something on this today, but what say you?
For a logo, I would say yes. Especially as you grow as a channel, if you get really big, if you make any products, like if you go through any kind of like Spreadshirt, that's a pretty big like Spreadshirt could kick your logo back. It happened.
They don't like my name, Dole Whip Dad.
Well, see, I don't think you might get a little bit of pushback from Dole if you were huge.
Well, they are. They're one of the largest multinational companies in the world. So YouTube doesn't care. When I was getting close to monetization, I was actually worried about, hey, Shep, what's going on? I was worried about it a little bit because it wasn't something I considered when, I made the name. So I wanted people to know that I wanted the Disney community to know I was Disney, but I didn't want non-Disney people to necessarily know I was a Disney channel, if that makes any sense. So I felt like it was smart and I liked it, and I liked Dole Whip. It certainly worked. But then once I cared about monetization, I went, oh, that might be bad.
Well, but then you start looking at, like, if you're Dole, the company, they don't care. And you can kind of skirt it because you're Dole Whip Dad. And the way you write it is Dole Whip Dad. It's not Dole.
Yeah,
Whip
that's
Dad.
a good point. And I'm not using their logo. That's true.
But the Mickey Mouse, for instance, Disney, I mean, if they went to bat to get Oswald and do what they did for Oswald, imagine what they do for Mickey. They're very particular about their branding. So, yeah, I don't think photos are different. Like the thumbnail I just made, I think thumbnails are different. You're not going to get kickback on a thumbnail where you would get kickback on an actual brand, because when you're making a brand, you're taking their identity and you're trying to pair your identity with it, and that's where they'll take issue.
It's definitely a gray area. So honestly, they could, but they won't. Whoever they is, the grand they. So if you got a picture, somebody mentioned Bob Iger. If I'm talking about Bob Iger and I put Bob Iger in my thumbnail, I'm allowed to comment. He's in the public domain. I'm allowed to comment on him. If I'm using Disney's logo and pretending like this is from Disney, they might care about that at some point. But if we're talking about Disney in the video or the live stream and you put Disney on there, you're allowed to comment on it. So I don't know. But if you're worried about it, call your copyright. I just lost my copyright lawyer's license just an hour ago, so you need to go get your own. But that there you go. Any thoughts on that, Lynn? Any of that?
Thumbs up.
So I mean, basically, you're playing in the gray when you're on YouTube. It's when you start becoming a bigger channel that's more massive, like your Tim Tracker or something along those lines, where you're making serious money, where Disney might look at it. If you have any doubts, just throw the copyright Disney on there. I've made vlogs where I've used an image that's owned by Disney, and I'll just throw copyright Disney on there. Not that they'd even care. They're not even going to probably watch my vlog.
So for people who don't know what you're talking about, what are you talking about there? Are you putting the little insignia there? And
yeah, the little copyright symbol, copyright Disney. And I'll throw that in a vlog if I use one of their images.
So I'm intrigued to hear that you do that. I don't do that. I'm not an expert at it. I think I've done my due diligence. Why do you? I mean, you're a pro in the field, so I'm interested in why you do that.
Honestly, it's just covering bases. I mean, it may not ever get viewed by them, but if I was to get any kind of kickback on using an image that I didn't own, because I don't own that image, I pulled it off their site. I didn't pay them, so like
the risk is only that they and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm stating as a fact, but I'm asking. The risk is only that they would take a chunk or the entirety of any monetization revenue, right?
Yeah, probably. It's, especially with music, they do that. But I think the real question here is branding, not so much thumbnails. Anything you do in your video that has graphics attached to it. Let's not even talk about images. Let's just say graphics. You're probably safe. But when you start talking about your logo and you're trying to get shirts made and things like that, they're very particular about that. And a lot of these companies will catch those famed ears. When you're small, you can skirt it. It's okay. I made Shep's logo. He's in the chat. I put those ears on there. I knew very well when I put those ears on there that those are Mickey's ears. Like, I don't own those ears. But we're talking about small channels who are just playing here. But then when he uploaded that to Spreadshirt kicked it back because their algorithm.
Exactly. Spreadshirt's worried about being got.
Wow.
Right. And so we made some adjustments, and he'll be fine from now on.
That's cool. Yeah, my I don't do a lot of that, but they don't like my name.
I think that's splitting hairs. Like all of us, for the most part,
doesn't care. Spreadshirt.
And all of us, for the most part, we're in the place where, like, Disney is not going to come knocking on your door asking for anything unless you're using, Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow's actual track into your video. So to answer it very long,
like the whole other thing.
Yeah,
that's down that rabbit hole. And frankly, it's probably worth getting up to speed on. I just be honest. I find people who are very, 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 very worried about that are just very, very, very worried about everything, and they're not going to grow until they get out of that. But
that's a good point.
I really do believe that, and I know. I hope it doesn't annoy anybody, but there's always an excuse. I wouldn't worry about it. But thumbnails, again, I'm just going to say, a lot of people came in here. I'm going to restate what I said in the beginning. There's two ways that somebody's going to be able to look into, to give them help to decide to click on your video, because it doesn't matter. You could be PewDiePie. You can have the greatest video ever, but if nobody clicks on it, who cares? I mean, it's all about click-through rate, right? YouTube's going to put it out, and the more people watch it, they're going to put it out more, because their goal is to keep people on. YouTube wants people to watch your stuff, right? Because they win there. So you have a title, you have a thumbnail. Josh, Lynn, whoever wants to take this, what percentage do you think comes down to the thumbnail versus the title? I would say it's probably more than 90% thumbnail, 10% title. What say you?
Well, I think in that you have an algorithm that you're fighting too. So where the thumbnail will grab the immediate viewer who's scrolling.
Well, the algorithm is more about people staying on the platform. So if you've got a video and people click on it and don't leave me immediately, they're going to put it out more. That's basically the algorithm is doing what people do.
Right. Well, what
I'm control over the thumb.
Well, what I'm mentioning is like in your title, the tags that are in your title versus your description versus the tags that you've added. Those all play together where your thumbnail stands alone. Your thumbnail can't get read by any kind of bot because it's an image. It's not like actual text. So I think like you're battling two fronts. You might as well just put soldiers at each, right?
Amen.
Yeah.
I saw Orlando Mike ask a question about PhotoPass images as thumbnails, and I'm pretty sure in the terms and conditions of PhotoPass, you're not allowed to do that technically. Again, that's splitting hairs. But if you're making money on it, I don't think you're technically allowed to do it. But again, who's going to know?
If you were selling those photos, you would have to have the rights to do that. And then you'd have to look at what rights you have, right? I mean, if you're
right.
Yeah.
I think it says that in the terms. Honestly, if I was making a thumbnail and I had one of those images and it was perfect fit, I'd probably use it. I wouldn't make it the whole thumbnail. And that actually brings me to another point. Images as whole thumbnails, I'm not a fan of those because of legibility's sake. When you're looking,
what do you mean? I don't think I understand.
So if your thumbnail has no graphics on it and it's just a photo and you've put text over that photo.
So like the castle of my family, and then I put words.
Right. Unless you have just a pure blue sky and you're putting words over that or a solid color, you're starting to get into legibility.
I'm guilty of that too.
Me too. Josh hates my thumbnails, guys.
Well, if you think about it, and it goes the same with using any kind of scripted font or anything like that, you want really kind of standardized fonts. It's okay to have something kind of artistic, but it's got to be legible. And the best way I can tell you to do it to make sure it's legible is create it, make it small, and look at it from, like make it the size, like 2 inches tall, and look at it. Can you read it easy? Be critical. Don't just throw stuff up because,
that makes a lot of sense. That makes Blue Nose. Thank you so much. I love what. Oh man, that's what I deserved after the live stream before. I needed my little chair there to zing me and get that show off there.
Orlando,
you the man. Thank you so much.
Canva has a free option. You can upgrade it to a premium option.
What do you get for that? And what do we need it?
I mean, honestly, like I said, I made that with the free version. So
I'm almost embarrassed to say this. So take this, maybe this is worth 1%, and Josh said it's worth 99%. I use Canva at work, and by I mean me and people who do that stuff. And it's very user friendly. I love it. I don't think I'm good at it. I don't think my team's good at it, but it's pretty powerful stuff. And I've never considered buying. I don't even know why. Like, what do you get for the premiums?
You get more fonts, more graphics.
Oh, okay. I mean, that makes sense.
But guys, to boil it all down, at the end of the day, try to spend a little bit more time on your thumbnails. Don't make them an afterthought. You spend all this time editing a vlog. You want to make sure you present your product, your vlog, the best way possible, and that's your thumbnail. So spend some time on it. Be patient. It's going to take patience to learn it, but play with it. Trial and error, right? Look at the stats. Look at the analytics. What's the click-through rate?
Yeah, that's a great point. Like, I know we've talked about it numerous times about how much time we'll spend editing a vlog, and to put that much time into it and then, half-ass the thumbnail, that doesn't make any sense. So
that's a good point. And I'm still guilty of it. Early on, I was guilty of it a lot. How often, let me ask it this way. Do you do your thumbnail before or after? Where in the process of the creation do you create the thumbnail, and how much time do you put on it? And in general,
time is a bit tricky because obviously I do it every day, so I'm a little bit quicker at it than most people probably. But I do mine at the end because I want to capture whatever the energy I've put out in this vlog.
That's good. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't want to present something that's not.
So a lot of people will do the video and say it's a talking head video. Then at the end, they'll get a couple of captures and they'll just use that. Do you do that? Do you go a little more fancy with a better camera? Where do you get? Do you even? I mean, yours are text and graphics heavy, right? Like one thing that people tell me all the time. One thing I read, things I hear about the YouTube experts that I listen to is they say one face is good, two faces better, three faces is best. I've heard that often. We haven't talked about that much. How do you feel about that?
I've noticed on the vlogs that I've put my face on, they've done well on a thumbnail.
The data is clear. Faces do better than non-faces. 2 is better than 1. 3 is better than 2. Every time I put my wife and my daughters on there, it does better when it's me too. I think it's unrelated. I think it's more about this, but
I think it has a lot to do with how you're presenting yourself too, because if you look at my vlogs that my face is on, I really try hard to present happy, excited, things like that, or an energy like that, and I try to incorporate whatever it is I'm talking about. If I'm doing a home vlog, like I did an Imagineering in a Box vlog, talking about the program that you can do for free, And what I did is I opened my laptop up. I pulled up Imagineering in a Box, or a photo of it, blew it up, and I took a selfie with it. And I did that after the fact. I've done screen captures, but and that's like a last resort for me. If I have an image from my trip, and I try to keep that in mind as a Disney creator when I'm on my trip.
Take photos. Yeah, I try to too. I always think of them when
That's what I do.
when I'm not there anymore. But yeah.
Right. And so worst case scenario, I'll try to find something either in the vlog or the content or PhotoPass, or if it's something that's a talking head video or I'm, talking about something, I'll try to take a selfie. Like I did it with my Lego vlog. I took a selfie. Imagineering in a Box, I took a selfie. But then you get into some that have no images, where it's just graphics, such as my SCA series, where I put a little bit more work into that.
Contemplation is your logos, right?
Now it's actually we've changed it, so it is our brand in the middle, and then it's an image, a fun image of each one of us. It's Lynn laughing, and then it's me with a goofy smile holding a kungaloo.
So it sounds like you're sometimes you do the face thing and sometimes you don't. I mean, it sounds like you don't think it's vital to put so for my Creator Talk thumb that we currently are using, I'm using Lynn and my face, because 2 is more than 1, and there's 2 of us, and and then like today, you sent me what you sent me, and I try to promote the fact that it's the same show, but we have a guest. But that's a lot of crap on there. I mean,
See, and if I was in that position, I think I would probably go through and I would have either, if you wanted to use images, like use both of your images, make them big side by side, put some text underneath, and special guests. Think of it, look at the big guys. So I'm a professional graphic designer, but sometimes I'll look at, I'm not in the entertainment business. So I might look at, what kind of type thumbnails are like Saturday Night Live doing, or Jimmy Fallon. There's a method why they go and they hire ad agencies that put all of this stuff together. There's a reason why they do it the way they do it.
Yeah.
So when in doubt, look at something and copy it. Not verbatim, not go and copy exactly what they're doing, but
a version of it that applies to your content.
Right.
And that's one of the neat things about being a YouTuber. It's also one of the almost stressful. I don't really think that's the right word to use there, but so think about this. You go to watch a movie, and you ever watch the credits? How long does that take? And it's tiny type, and it's all the dudes and dudettes who all have full-time jobs doing what? All the stuff that you're doing, we're doing, creating a video. We're the promotional team. We're the sound department. We're the costume design, looking at you, Josh. We're all the stuff. And thumbnails is what? It's the movie poster. It's a bunch of those things that teams of people get paid. Oh, and by the way, some of those movies with all those people doing all those full-time jobs fail after 3 days. You never see them again. I mean, I love that. I love that we're the beginning to end part. Each aspect of it, we're that part of the creation. Unless you farm it out. As people get big, some people farm it out. Some people don't edit. Some people don't do their thumbnails. But I like it. I'd love to get to the point someday that I couldn't do all that, because that would be a good problem to have. But I'm nowhere near that now. But I guess you got to do. Going back to my beginning thought, and I want your feedback on it. I kind of decided that thumbnails, again, incorrectly, I believe, that thumbnails wouldn't be as important in the beginning, just because I didn't know, right? And so I decided I daily vlogged, which took up a lot of freaking time in 2019. But I decided, and it made me better in a lot of things. But what still sucked at the end of the year? My thumbnails.
Well, you have one chance at a first impression.
Yes.
And that's what your thumbnail is. And
that's a great way to put it.
You need to spend, everybody, you need to be critical on your thumbnail, and you need to spend some time on your thumbnail. And remember that I'm not saying you need to sit up and be away stressing about it, but you have one chance to impress somebody with your thumbnail for them to click through to your video. They're never going to see your content if they don't get past your thumbnail. That's the gatekeeper. That's good. That's your baited hook. You got to attract them.
Now, do you use TubeBuddy? I know you have TubeBuddy, right?
Yes.
Do
Yes.
you use the A/B thumbnail testing?
No.
See, I haven't yet either. I know Lynn is very excited to try that.
I'm so excited. I got an awesome email.
You are my favorite thumbnail-er. I love the thumbnail-er word. I'm going to stick with my favorite thumbnailer. I'm intrigued.
Thumbnailer.
Have you not used it because you know you've got good thumbnails? Everybody who I respect, the Nick Nimmons, all those people, they say test, test, test. And I haven't yet because I know they suck. But as soon as I don't think they suck, and I can make two that don't suck, maybe I'll start testing. Why have you not? I'm intrigued.
I just haven't because I know what the what composition like. And listen, I'm not trying to sound prideful or egotistical, but I have confidence in my work. First,
yeah,
and
I mean
foremost.
it's good. It's good stuff.
And
he doesn't need an A/B test. He already knows what
right?
he puts
I
out
don't
is
disagree.
good.
the people that build that A/B test are the people that I would consider colleagues.
Yeah, that's fair.
And you know, if I can't make a solid thumbnail, my livelihood is in jeopardy, because that means I can't design appropriately. Now, granted, this is a hobby for
you change it up though.
I do.
Your copy and contemplation. You just shared with us that you changed it up.
But design composition still stays the same no matter what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because
so I think I'm smarter than the average bear. I don't know what design composition even freaking means. So
okay, so that's going back to balance and typography and legibility and bold and bright and color choices and those things. That's all design composition. Those all work together. That's like your I'm trying to think of a layman's term to put that in. Those are all puzzle pieces that make the puzzle. And at the end of the day, that's the design composition is the finished puzzle. So, I mean, yeah.
I love the last version that you came up with of our coffee and contemplation. So if you guys don't know, which I think most of you do, that Josh and I, Practically Perfect Parkhopping and myself are partner channels, and we go live every Saturday. And Josh is the designer of our thumbnails, and this last version of it is so amazing because you took the visual, the graphic of the coffee pouring.
I don't think I know the name. I'm going to go look at it right now.
And then also us, like what you're getting. So you're getting me and Josh, and then, you know, possibly someone else with, you know, a spouse pops in here or there, or a kid trolls me and dances with their shirt off in the background. But
that's not the
yeah, we're not going to put that on
I remember now. Yeah. I love it. Yeah.
But it's my favorite version. And I love that it's evolved from, like, I loved the first one so much. What you did with our, it's so cool.
And then talk about I'm sorry, Lynn.
I was just saying that I love the first version of it so much. And then now to see where it's evolved into, that it's just like a picture of me, you know, neck laughing. And that's what you get and like Josh, you know, super happy, smiling ear to ear. Like that's what you get with Coffee and Contemplation. Well, so I think that's like great.
It's so good because it shows off you guys.
There you go.
You're pro. And you're happy.
It's in the bottom. You can share the screen.
Oh, there you go. Well, and then here, I'll share it right here. But then can you show them also when we're done with this, the your SEA series?
Oh, those are so incredible.
Like the series or the Friends of the SEA live stream thumbnail.
Which one? I guess I was looking at the Friends of, now that you say it. But my point stands either way. It's it does not show, like if I know Coffee and Contemplation, if I watch the show every week and I see that, I know what I'm getting. Even if I don't know, okay, this is PPP, this is Josh on the SEA stuff. Here's what I know when I see it. This dude spent some time. This dude's pro, at least on his thumbnails. And if he's good on thumbnails, he's not going to suck at videos, because why would he be good at thumbnails? You know what I'm saying? It stands the heck out.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it. It stands out as pro.
Well, and like here, like when I made this, obviously Coffee and Contemplation, our show that we do on Saturdays, is we're drinking coffee and we're just talking about whatever's new in the Disney world. But we go on rants. Like we just had like an hour-long conversation about chips and dip. Like that's what we do. So that's the Coffee and Contemplation. So I added the question mark, obviously the coffee, and we have so much fun. Anybody that's been on there, we laugh. You've been on there, Jeff. You know how much fun it is. And so that's what I tried.
I have a problem with the thumbnail. If anybody spills that much coffee, what the heck? That's a lot of coffee outside.
It's heading right into my mouth. That's why it's open.
I love it.
Let me see if I can pull up the other one you mentioned. But, you know, I'm
because it doesn't have your face in it. It doesn't. If you don't know that it's you, you're not going to know that it's you. But you're going to know that this is the quality effort someone has put in.
Right, and you know, like I think everything, especially a show, has a progression. And as you know, because you've done several shows, and eventually, you know, you have to start somewhere, and then you have your people that come back and watch consistently, and they're always there.
Sure.
And then so you have to kind of you have to evolve with that, and I think that's where your thumbnails can evolve too, because people get used to seeing them, and so eventually you have to kind of change it up a little bit. And we usually announce when we change something up. Like when we rolled out our branding, we announced it.
But you can buy our merch on.
And yeah, Orlando Mike, I've seen your question a few times. Yeah, you can send it. I can't guarantee we're not going to get to it right now, buddy. But yeah, send it over and I'll give you my 2 cents and I'll send it to them. You send it to whoever you want and they'll do whatever they want. But I'll respond. So if you are in chat right now, and if they're in chat right now and they're like me, they want to get better at thumbnails, but they're not going to go and become a you. They're not going to go do what you do professionally.
Right.
It sounds to me like you would advise them to check out Canva for free and get good at that and just work that system, question mark, or not. What else or what instead?
Yeah, I would check out Canva, and I would first I'd play with it and learn your way around it. But at the same time, you also need to figure out how you want your thumbnails to look. You know, what's the consistency? What's the branding you're trying to put forth? Your look.
Hey, Shelly. Now that's a great point. So how does one? So I know that I'm never going to get good at color. I'm red green colorblind. I know what bright is, and like in the real world, in real life, I like bright flowers, right? Like I like bright flowers. When I tell my wife, "Oh, I like that flower," she always laughs and says, "Well, that's the brightest flower I've ever seen in my whole life." So I know what's bright. I don't not know flowers, but how do you advise somebody like me or anybody in chat? How would we come up with what is the right word? Our palette? Is that the right word?
Your look.
There you go.
Well, I mean that depends on like if you have a logo, I like to play off of like let's look at this. Yeah, so this is from my SEA live stream that I did with Jeff and Sarah, Adults in Disney, who were in the chat earlier. I don't know if they're still here.
By the way, had a blast.
And because I'm talking about the SEA, which is kind of a vintage, Disney unknown secret society, I wanted to give it that vibe and that feel. Granted, this is probably the most work I've done on a thumbnail in all of my thumbnails. But it's because I'm passionate about the topic.
It's just a bunch of layers of awesomeness. Is that what we got going on there?
Yeah, normally I'll create all my thumbnails in Illustrator and I say Photoshop for like more intricate work. This was built in Photoshop with touches of Illustrator, of course, but this isn't something that I would say, hey guys, you can open up Canva and do this. You probably cannot do this in Canva. To be honest.
That's incredible. I remember looking at that when it was up and you had posted the link to it and I was just like, wow.
I mean, it looks like it could go on somebody's wall. I mean,
yeah,
awesome.
My thumbnails suck bad.
But I did this because I'm so I had fun building this. This didn't feel like work to me because I love the SEA and I love talking about it and I was so excited for this stream. So it was a lot of fun to build this.
So where did you acquire that art? Did you? And I'm thinking to the copyright conversation.
The the SEA logo.
All of it. Yeah.
So obviously the image of Jeff and Sarah is their image. I asked them for that. In the parchment that you see on there, that is a stock image of parchment. That's a PNG.
Okay.
Bob Iger is CEO again. That's big news. Sorry.
So I've seen that 2 or 3 times in the chat. When the first time I saw it, Josh was talking, and it doesn't say that on my Google.
Avery said it's confirmed. I trust Avery.
I trust Avery too.
But anyways, so getting back on topic, the SEA stuff, I was diving into it, digging around, trying to find. There's not a lot of stuff out there, and this is one of those situations where I found something and I took it and I used it. I did not make the map. Obviously, the seal is a PNG. The map was something that I had found. So, and I just placed it all together. Now, going back to the branding color aspect that you asked that question, I think it depends. Like for me, I like bright colors. I like colors that pop. If you look at my Magical Monday Mayhem thumbnails, they're all super bright. It was a lot of fun to play with that, make that. If you're going through it and you're trying to create something, think of that. Think about, okay, like what catches somebody's eye? What catches your eye? When you think about yourself, what catches your eye? Except for Jeff, if it's red, he can see it. Like he doesn't know if that's red.
Sure.
So your Magical Monday Mayhem thumbnails just look fun. Same thing with, I think, like what you created. You create all of them awesome, but like with our live streams that we do with the Coffee Contemplation and the Magical Monday Mayhem, they just look fun. Like they're inviting. You want to click on it.
Exactly. That's what you want, right? That especially when it's live and it's a hangout. You want it to feel fun. It's hard to say. You need a branding. You have a logo. Again, not everyone needs a logo. If you don't feel like you need a logo, that's on you. I feel like everyone should have a logo.
Well, if your goal is growth, I mean, plenty of people have channels that are just having fun, making stuff for themselves and their family and friends. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yes,
but if your goal,
absolutely.
If you have a logo, you can make stickers and pins.
I was just moving around stuff, and I dropped something, and I had like 4 Lynn project stickers on the floor. Oh, and a PPP button.
They're everywhere.
But anyway, I think that, I hear some people say, hey, it's not about the money. I'm just having fun. And then I hear other people saying, come on and treat it like a business. I think that's really up to you. But if you want to grow.
Well, and listen,
branding is everything.
I like bright colors. They go with my brand. If you're not if they don't go with your brand, do what goes with your brand. Whatever colors match you. It's at the end of the day, I'm just somebody giving you some tips. You don't have to take them, but it's up to you. What abides by your brand? What do you like?
Right.
Well, and part of it is being coachable, not to try to segue into topics too. But look, we talked about this. All 3 of us talked about this all week in different together and in separate conversations. This show, what is Creator Talk? It's my and Lynn and our guest tonight, you, Josh, and anybody else who comes on, attempt to help each other grow. I mean, I didn't take notes through college, and I took notes tonight. And we joked about notes in the pre-show thing. And I think that how do you grow? How do you grow anything? You provide value. Whether that's, hey, look at the picture I took of the castle that all of you took 8 million times too, but I got one too. Look at it, right? And here's a video of me walking down Main Street, just like everybody else has done it, right? We can all do that, but how do you provide value? Well, I hope this show provides value. Now, if you're watching the show and it doesn't provide value, maybe you think we're wrong, which in my case is probably, I'm probably wrong. But if you can't glean something valuable out of Josh's last an hour,
it was amazing.
Then you're uncoachable, and all of us are coachable when we decide.
Sorry if I went on any kind of rant. Hopefully you guys got stuff.
You didn't go on a rant. You were great.
No,
I feel like I need a whiteboard and an expo marker.
I'm definitely going to watch the replay again so I can take more notes on it and try to absorb all of that awesome information that you shared with us. Like what you shared with us is college level, like graphic designer information. And if anyone in chat doesn't understand that, then I'm sorry, but you're dumb. But that was amazing. And that was so much value that you gave us for nothing. You just were here to share because you want to share because of like what we're talking about right now, being able to be coachable.
a high tide raises all ships.
I love that. That's my
And
favorite.
if you can't be coachable and you can't see past your own pride to help others, then you've already failed, in my opinion, as
And
a
if you
professional,
want
as a
it-
business owner.
And if you want it to be easy more than you want to get good, you already know that you don't want it. You like buy a lottery ticket. Like, look at here. I'm going to post it here. I'm going to post a link right now. So that's for TubeBuddy. It's my affiliate link. You download it. It's free. All right. It's free. You know how much that cost? No dollars. Now, I don't care if you download it. I do want to get 250 people to download it. I've had 6 so far, because if people buy it, there's a commission involved on it. But I'm not even going there. If you want to grow on YouTube and you're not watching the Nick Nimmons of the world, the Sean Cannells of the world, Cannell, however you say it.
Canal?
If you're not on TubeBuddy, if you're not checking out the things that are out there that can help you, you're just hoping, right? There's YouTube itself within the ecosystem of YouTube has an entire, I mean, my gosh, it's more it's more information than I took in many college courses I took on how to get good at YouTube. It's there for you. And I hope our little show is a little piece of that. And, you know, I get some interesting messages about this show. I know you do too, Lynn, and I love most of them. But every now and then I get one, I'm like, what? They just want it for free. They just like, hey, don't get me wrong. I would love to win a lottery. Like, I have to play, and I don't play because it's a tax on the stupid. But did I say that out loud? Yes, I did. But I like the process too. Like, and
Yeah.
I don't want to speak for you, Josh. And I don't want to speak for you, Lynn, but I've talked to you both. You like the process of creating. You like the process of having a voice. And it's fun to get good at this stuff, right? I mean, I felt like I went on a rant. What do you guys think?
For sure.
Yeah, exactly. I agree 100%. Josh and I have had countless conversations in regard to that. That it's not just like the community that we've found and become a part of is the unexpected. Like I knew that if I worked on it and I try, and as I keep learning and growing and I keep absorbing as much information as I can, like this amazing last hour with Josh sharing all of his thumbnail tips, that I can get better as long as I keep seeking the information, trying to get better, and knowing my flaws, knowing where my weaknesses are, and where I just went back because somebody commented on a vlog from June. And I was like, why is somebody watching one of my vlogs? I've never seen them in there before, never commented on anything.
Well, that's good. Then they discovered you.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, I went back and I watched it because I didn't really remember it. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so bad. It's so bad. But that can be helpful because I can look back at it and say, okay, going forward, the next time I go to Disney, the next time I do a park vlog, I'm going to do this differently. I want to do this better. And how can I improve on the information I provided? I don't feel like I provided enough information. It was more for me than for my viewer. And so I think that that's just part of all of it. And I don't know, I kind of went all over the place with that, but.
That was good. That was good. Yeah, I do want to ask you, I'm going to pull up your screen there, Josh, if that's cool.
Yeah, do it.
But I do want to ask you, do you ever go back and modify, update, improve, whatever the right word is, your thumbs? And if so, do you use TubeBuddy for that, or how do you do it? I know TubeBuddy has that tool, but go ahead.
I haven't done that. If I was, I'd just do it probably through the YouTube studio. These are like Where to Begin is my first ever vlog.
I love
and
that one.
This was when I was determining my brand. But you notice that font, Where to Begin, or Those Weird Disney People, that's the same font that's my logo. So I'm still using that font. Okay. And then this What the Heck is a Magic Band, I still use that font today. That's still the font I use in my thumbnails.
Right now?
That's that. Or like, let's go to my most recent, or not most popular. Let's see, data newest. So Magic Museum, like okay, 7 unbeatable quick service dining options in Walt Disney World. It's a little bit of a different layout, but you see that it's still the same balance, but still using that same font. They haven't changed a whole lot over time.
Oh, Blue Nose, thanks, buddy. Again, Blue Nose, $10. Is that? I do like the spinning on the. So I'm smart enough now to set up so when they send a sticker, I can see it, because like for a couple chats, I couldn't see it. That's funny. And I think I was big to start with. I'm clearly airport size now that I haven't gone to work in like 3 weeks. So thank you, buddy. Love you. You're the best. And I love it. The stickers are fun.
Thank you, Chris. That's me spinning in the chair, by the way.
I think
Seriously,
it
buddy,
was a very good idea to have the thumbnail chat and the Coachable chat in the same stream, because
I mean, we haven't talked about Coachable too much, so feel free to dive in. I mean,
yeah, well,
Hey, Richard, thank you for being here.
that's what I'm doing right now. Like I'm trying to coach you guys in how to make better thumbnails. Now, I'm not a teacher. I'm just a graphic designer. But I'm trying to share some knowledge, and at the same time, it's like,
yep.
If you can't, going back to like, let's say high school, or even college, if you can't sit there and listen to the teacher and learn, then you're wasting your time. Now, I'm not saying any of us on the screen are teachers here, but we're trying to help and what we know.
But you are, Josh. Like, respectfully, I disagree. You absolutely are, and not because I love your thumbnails, because you're putting yourself out there. Look, if you can't find nuggets from people and just in general life, forget thumbnail talk. If you're just talking to people and you're trying to get better in life, you can pull a nugget from everyone. Now, I do think you're a freaking thumbnail expert. I do. I'll say it. That's right. But even if you weren't, you're willing to share. That's enough. Like, you can even learn from people who are wrong. Just, you don't have to. I learn from my dad all the time what not to do. That was, he was good. It is what it is. My point is, if you want to get better, Josh thumbnail. Come on, everybody's got something to share. And on YouTube, it's everywhere, including here. I'm proud to say including here. So
when you stop learning, I've always heard this quote. When I was young, I heard it, and I still remember today. When you stop learning, whether it be reading or whatever, that's when you start to get old.
Amen.
I firmly believe that age is just a number, and all throughout life, you have to learn. And some of my favorite topics of conversation is when I've been able to approach men who have lived a full life and talk to them about work ethic and, what was the greatest generation like? Like, that's one thing I always go out of my way to shake a World War II veteran's hand, because they are truly the greatest generation.
And there's so few of them anymore. My goodness.
And so if you can't learn from people like that, or anybody that you feel like has value, whether it's Gary Vaynerchuk or your Nick Nimmons, then it's not a learning issue. It's an ego issue.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to shelter your ego and pride to sit back and learn, especially if you want to climb the ladder.
Good night, Donna.
That's really good.
When I say ladder,
Donna, go to bed. Good night, Donna. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry, Josh.
Yes, good night, Donna. No, you're good. You're good. I always stop and say hi to Donna. Or Donna.
Right? If you haven't learned, we love us some Donna.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. She's awesome. Somebody asked, was it Melissa and Neil Disney family? There we go. Josh, did you buy that font, or it's free? That's a great topic. So there are fonts out there that you can buy. Like, all of us have probably looked at one point on trying to make our fonts more Disney-like. I know I have. I don't know. Can you speak to that? Like, for people like us, how do you? I mean, I can tell you what I do. I use the stuff that, honestly, it's about the thumbnail and not diving in. I started using, Bangers, I think it's called. I don't know why I picked it originally. I just decided, I've done the first 40 videos. Let's do it for the rest of the year. And, a kind of a lazy strategy there. But where do you find them, and how do you decide what you like?
You can buy fonts. I own the fonts I use, but they're not fonts that I necessarily bought. They're fonts that was purchased through projects. Now, a lot of these programs are using Canva.
I'm sorry. When you say you own the font, you own the rights to use the font?
Yes.
Okay.
Commercially.
Otherwise, you created it and it's yours. I wasn't sure which one you're saying.
Yeah. Creating fonts is a whole other ballpark. I've never personally created a font. But there are fonts that are commercial use and fonts that are personal use, and they're free. That's diving way deep. Honestly, if you're using one of these apps, all the fonts that are on there are available for you to use, no matter what. If you're going to download a font, I mean, honestly, if it's free and you download it, just go for it. I mean,
And if it's one of those, give me $19 and I'll give you 1,200 fonts, is that?
I don't think I'd jump into that because there's a lot of sites you can get free fonts like dafont.com, DAFONT.com.
I don't even know. So what do? Do you download? I don't even know how that works.
Yeah, that's honestly if you're using a program like I am, like Illustrator. But if you're using like, Canva, they're built in. I mean, you don't really need to.
Yeah.
Right. That's where I was getting confused when you guys were saying, like, I'm like, I don't own any rights to anything. I don't know. But Canva offers all of that for free. So it's I guess, so would you compare that for, layman's terms? Canva is kind of the same as Epidemic Sound for those types of things. Like Epidemic Sound,
meaning it's a tool to use. Is that what you're trying to say?
Royalty free, but
interesting way to look at it. Sure.
Right.
Yeah, it's another tool in your toolbox, basically. As a YouTube creator, you get a lot of tools in your toolbox. TubeBuddy being one, Epidemic Sound being one.
I mean, yeah, there you go.
Canva being one, YouTube itself being one, and whatever editing software you use. It's your creator toolbox.
What are some of your other favorite tools? I mean, we've talked obviously about mostly thumbnails and then coachability night. And part of coachability is seeing what's out there and getting to, you don't have to use TubeBuddy. You don't have to use Canva. You don't have to use any of these things. There's other things out there. These are the ones that we like. I'm nuts for TubeBuddy. The past month, they've been amazing to me. And that's a whole nother conversation. We'll be talking a lot. We'll be talking a lot of TubeBuddy on this show because I love them and they're giving me opportunities to give more opportunities to you guys. But Canva, all of them, it's just getting a feel for them. There's competitors to all these things. Like I was part of an Epidemic Sound task force. 2 days worth of a bunch of questions. And they gave me 3 months free. I completed that over an hour this week. I was blessed that they asked me. And one of the questions they ask is, who else do you know and do you use them? And so my point in saying that is there's lots out there on all of this stuff. So just because I like TubeBuddy, just because he likes Canva, just because she likes whatever, you don't have to do that. But certainly what I think you have to do is go try them and see what works for you.
Exactly. And I think it's smart to see what your colleagues or your friends are using. Like if you're a creator in this community, chances are you have other creators that you're hanging out with or talking with. And I like to not that I go with the popular kids, but I like to go with what works. And if everybody else is running with it and it's working for them, it'll work for me.
See, I really appreciate that. I'm a contrarian in general. What I mean by that is if everybody's zigging, I usually generally want to zag. It's just my personality. I mean it. I totally mean it. But with Epidemic Sound, all the cool kids are using it, right? Why are they using it? Because it's, in my never so humble opinion, the best.
It's awesome.
Why is everybody using TubeBuddy? Because it's freaking the best. I know Canva a little bit. If Josh is using Canva, that's definitely enough for me. Do I know the Adobe suite of products? I don't. Do I know that someday I'll get at least decent at it? Of course I will, because it's what everyone, not because I needed to use what the best people are using, because the best people are using it for a freaking reason.
Josh, do you have a Canva link you can drop? I know they have.
I don't. Britt uses Canva. So I coach Britt. So Britt works in real estate, and she has to create graphics for who she works for in real estate. And I coach her with graphics. She uses Canva. I don't personally use Canva. I use Adobe Illustrator. I have used Canva. In a pinch, I use Canva. And I created that thumbnail to show all you guys that you can create something completely for free.
Canva is very user-friendly, correct?
Yeah.
Absolutely it is. And, as far as, we're talking about coachability, right? And learning and thumbnails, all this stuff that has to do with being a creator and being a good creator, but not just being a creator, being a good entrepreneur, a good business owner, and a good person. And I think, for the most part, some of you in the chat may be essential workers, maybe nurses even. And I thank all of you for that first and foremost. Amen. But for those of you who are sitting at home and you're like, well, I don't know how to use these programs. You're just sitting at home, people. Like, pick it up, It's a little bit of work, but since you're not working, start learning. Pick up a book, download an audio book, listen to a podcast. That's one thing I think that a lot of people struggle with is they're more concerned with entertainment than learning. And sometimes you have to find a happy medium. And if you want to get better, you'll learn. Otherwise, you won't get better.
I so appreciate that. Last Monday, not so 2 weeks ago, I guess. Tomorrow would be 2 weeks. I decided, like, I've got work to do, but I don't have that much work to do, right? And I'm on my couch. Like, I'm already fat. I don't have to worry about that. So what am I going to do with my time? And I was going to buy a course. I was going to buy a YouTube course by somebody that I bet you both heard of. I'm not going to bore you with it right now. But I thought about dropping some dollars on somebody I really respect and diving in while I had the time. And then I looked at what was out there that was free, and I have not mastered what I can get for free yet. And then TubeBuddy, I swear I don't work for them, had a 24-hour quarantine stream, which I really thought was a horrible name, but I still love them. And they did 24 hours. They had a different creator or two on every hour for 24 hours. And I swear to you, I'm still tired because I didn't want to miss any of it. It was like a freaking master class, and it's still up. Go check out their website. If you donated, you could win things. I happen to know Lynn won something. I happen to know I won something. But my point isn't that. My point is there's so much out there that can make you better. You can go learn Italian. You can go learn how to cook. You can. Right. I signed up for those masterclass shows, and I'm doing the Iger one right now. There's so much out there that you can learn. And if you want to get good at TubeBuddy, I mean, a couple people in chat's comments are, I've been working really hard on, and I want to dive into creator or the creator coaching thing right here on YouTube. It's a ton. Go find Nick Niven. Go find, Pat Flynn has a podcast every day right now. He starts off the day every day talking for an hour. If you don't know who Pat Flynn is, you should know who Pat Flynn is if you want to grow. Who are some of the podcasts? Who are some of the YouTube channels, the creators that each coach you guys from afar or from close? Who do you guys go to learn the stuff?
Who I've been listening to a lot is actually, I listen to him for two reasons. One, because I think his content's just awesome and it's something that I love, but also because he's been at it for a while and he's in this community, and that's Lou Mangello from WDW Radio. I like his product.
He's a podcaster. If you don't know who that is, guys, he's a podcaster.
He is a podcaster, and it's very well polished. It's friendly. He sounds friendly, and he talks about topics that aren't typically talked about in the Disney community. And as a creator, I'm constantly trying to find, especially now with all of us sitting at home without park content, I'm trying to find things that I can talk about.
Well, and he's kind of the OG Disney podcaster. Right?
He is.
He might.
And that goes to show you that, the OGs sometimes are the smartest because they're not watered down. Think your Napoleon Hills.
Good. Yeah. I'm sorry, Josh. Go ahead.
No, Lynn.
I just like Nick Niven, Sean Cannell, and just the other. I've already talked to you guys about this multiple times. Like, I think we're all kind of on like that same list of different creators that we watch. Roberto Blake and the vidIQ. I just reach from all different sources and try to take what I can apply to me that I find feasible, because some of it isn't directly something I can apply to myself or my channel. So I will watch different videos on those things, and I try to, I'll even watch other Disney YouTubers to see their style. What are they doing? How is this appealing? Am I enjoying it? What don't I enjoy about it? What should I not do for my video because I don't enjoy watching it? And this one, how can I make my video better by what do I love about their video that they did that I can apply to my next video? So I think.
Real quick, just for a second. Sorry. That's so healthy because that's what so many people don't get. That's healthy criticism. Being critical of yourself is so important because you don't get better unless you can be critical of yourself. Continue. Sorry.
1,000%. Now, and that is my practice that I've been doing for about a year now, is just watching other things. I mean, lately I've been extra unproductive and spending too much time on TikTok. But
here's the thing, though. TikTok also, not to jump into a TikTok conversation, but that's a creative tool.
it is.
You know, it's still creating.
Absolutely.
And the way I look at creativity, and Lynn, you know very well because you're my partner in show, I took a break from YouTube for a little bit.
Yep.
I know
that's
that
because
I kept looking for videos from you and they weren't coming.
And that's because
I a message, hey dude, make a freaking video. I miss your stuff.
Well, and what it is creativity is a pool, and you draw from it every time you create. But you also have to feed into it. If you stop feeding into it or it becomes work, then it dries up, and then you get tired of creating.
Right? You got to consume. You got to create. I think if you do either only, like me and you have talked about this a couple times recently, even. I don't watch as many vlogs as much as many Disney. My friends' videos I don't watch as much as I wish I did. Do you know why? Because I'm choosing to create, and there's only so much time. And when, by the way, I do still watch Netflix, and I like to stay married. I like my kids to see me now and then.
Exactly.
Gonzo, my good friend, he asked me on one of these shows not too long ago, how do you balance this? I don't balance it. I include them.
Right.
But that doesn't mean it means I'm consuming less. I'm not watching reruns of Seinfeld. Sorry, I could have said Friends. Dang it. If I'm funny, I would have said Friends. I consume plenty. Don't get me wrong. I consume my fair share. But, I ask on purpose who you guys consume that are trainers to you, just to get to the coachability point. For me, all those names that you said, I listen to all of them. I've recently dove into Owen Video, live streaming pros. They're blowing up right now, obviously, but I've been checking out their stuff. I think I mentioned Pat Flynn earlier. Again, all the names. Nick Nimmon's my go-to. He's my favorite. I got to be honest. I've said it before. I watch him while I watch you guys almost every Saturday. But it doesn't even matter who the names are. I mean, I hope I'm sharing names for people in chat, so if they don't know these names, they can go. But it doesn't matter. Whoever connects with you, whoever's personality you click with, whoever is giving you information.
And to speak to that, one thing that I respect about you, Jeff, is that you don't stick into the Disney niche. You go outside of that, and that's something as a creator you can't afford to stick to your niche. You have to look outside of it. That's where you're looking at your Pete McKinnon's. And everybody who's on the breaking cutting edge. Granted, you have to remember when you're looking at these people, you're looking at things that they're doing to see if you can include them. You're not trying to be them because they have an audience already. They've done the work.
Right.
You can't come in and do exactly what they're doing because you will fail because you're not them.
Silly. Like, I'm not a fanboy. I'm a fanboy of plenty of things. I'm a fanboy of Kylo Ren and Jared Leto and Jenny McCarthy, and I'm a fanboy of plenty of stuff, but I'm not I love McKinnon stuff because it's so cinematic. I loved Casey Neistat. He was making a movie every freaking day when he was doing daily. Last year, Cody Warner. He's another one, by the way. I love Cody's stuff. So positive, so uplifting, so creative. But my point, I appreciate what you said there. I run a nonprofit. I've done that. I've been in the nonprofit world since '93. By now I should know what I'm doing or I should be out, right? So who are my coaches? They're very in the entrepreneurial world now. I don't want my I'm proud right now that my nonprofit's not dead, because right now nonprofits are freaking dying. You know why? They're on a tiny little margin. Restaurants have it tough, so do nonprofits. So if you had no money in the bank and you have no way of continuing to have money in the bank in this time, all my employees go away and all my people that we serve go away. How dare I? So if I'm not learning from Gary B, who's not in the nonprofit niche, I mean, you got to learn from people who are winning, not from people who are doing what, I'm not going to be Peter McKinnon. If I had to be somebody, it might be him now that I think about it, but I'm not going to be me.
I think that's another important fact to acknowledge is realistic expectations. I didn't come in a year ago and think in 1 year I'm going to have 1 million subscribers. I went in knowing I want to grow. I'm going to do the best I can, and I'm going to figure out however I can to do the best and do better every single day. And I think
that you do, Lynn. So me and you had our conversation about what are our goals. My goals in the end that I wrote down for 2020 was to get to 5K subs. Now, let's be real. Doesn't freaking matter. It does, whatever the number is, It doesn't matter, because it matters having a goal. So you have to work at it. And how am I going to get there? Am I going to go into channels and comment to everybody and hope they like me and get a bunch of freaking subs, and then I'll go into this community and I'll talk to them? And if you think that's how you grow, you don't want to grow. You want to have vanity stuff like that. Lynn has really helped me with understanding the whole vanity aspect of it. There's nothing wrong with going into community and making friends and connecting, and sure, some people will come sub to you, but if you want to grow, it's thumbnails, it's video editing, it's creation, it's talking to the camera, it's building a community, it's getting uncomfortable, it's blah 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 blah. Hey Michaela, what's going on? It's not about
exactly.
It's sub for sub. If you're going, hey everybody, come look at me, I'm gonna sell you some Amway. That's not growing a YouTube community.
Yeah.
And it's something I take very seriously, whether it's Coffee and Contemplation or any community that is attached to me, is I care about my community. It's my job as the creator to care about them. And that's why I stay away from, say, sub for sub or trolls. And if they pop up, I hold my mods accountable. And the reason why they're a mod, while they have that wrench, is I expect them to nip that. And if they can't nip that, or they are abiding by the things that I don't agree with, they're gone.
Yeah.
Because like when I've got two of you on here, like I feel like I'm engaged with the chat way more than I usually am right now. But it's because I've got two people who can hold a conversation up here. People ask, I'll get 2 to 5 people tonight with a message, hey, can I come on your show? And thanks, guys. But the truth is, I don't say yes until I can see you can hold a conversation. Not because I want to, not because you're not one of the cool kids. I've heard that freaking term twice this week. Like, how about shut up? It's not about being cool. If you invite me on your show and you talk less than 5% of the time, probably not coming back, because it's nothing personal, but it's sub for sub. It's the same.
Just so you guys know, I'm not cool at all.
See, you made me back. If you guys backing up the conversation, when I said you have to treat your community like a toddler, not calling your community a toddler, guys in the chat, you're not toddlers per se, but you have to have that mindset, because as like the shepherd or the parent, I am guiding you away from, say, sub for sub, because that's like telling you, hey, you probably shouldn't drink that poison. It'll kill you.
Right.
It's my job as a creator to see that, and my mods are kind of like my chaperones, right?
Yes.
And they're there to help me. That's why they're there. And I'm sorry, but like, I care about my community. I care about the people in my chat. They're the people that watch my stuff. They're the people that I laugh with, that come and watch me on the live stream, that it's not ever about it, but that super chat, that, go and watch a video and comment, hit the like button, share my stream out. So I care about them. And when you come in and you start trolling them or suscepting them to bad things, or getting them in a bad situation, or, misleading them, I get offended, and I don't want you in my chat.
Right.
It's weird too, right? Because there's a percentage of the population on YouTube and in general that, like, we had somebody pop in here today. He said hey to me like 17 times. Donna, or I think it was Donna.
Yeah, it was Donna.
Like, I don't get, like, me and Lynn post Creator Talk shows have had plenty of these talks, and it's always some form of help me understand why they something. And I don't know, you're more in tune with people. Lynn cares more about people. So Josh cares about people. Lynn cares about people. I just want to understand why the heck people do what they do. I mean, I care about people, obviously. And I run a nonprofit. I care about people, but I don't pretend to think that people confuse the crap out of me on a daily basis. Like, why do you come into somebody's random chat and just want someone to say your name? And then when you do hear your name, you want it more. Like, what do you get out of that? Go talk to your mirror. Say hello. I don't get it. What is that?
It's, I don't know, sadness. It's being pathetic, and it's not productive.
If you can get what I think they need, what I think they want is a sense of belonging. And I'm not going to dive into the nerd weeds here, but we have something. I just said I wasn't going to do this, and here it goes. We use something called the Youth Development Strategy where I work, and it's 4 different things, and one of them is giving kids a sense of belonging. And I get it. this is a great way to do that. What are we doing when we're building a community? We're giving everybody a sense of belonging. Josh, I belong to your community. Lynn, I belong to your community. Why? Because I like you and you've accepted me, and I didn't know you guys 3 years ago. We've connected. So if you're going into the PPP, the Coffee and Contemplation chat, and you want to connect, you get value. Look at the value we get. Lynn, have you gotten value from our relationship?
Absolutely. This is honestly, I was looking forward to this so much. I'm going to interrupt you really quick, but like two of my favorite people, like you guys are awesome. Two of my favorite YouTubers. I had two of my best friends that I talk to you guys both on a daily basis. And I don't know, I was just really excited about this, and you guys are, my family. So
I love that. And I love you guys back. But let me say it this way. So you get value out of this relationship. I get value. You're freaking my co-host on my show. Obviously, I'm getting value out of our relationship. Did we come at each other in a, hey, come to my channel? I mean, it's
no.
like what they want, they would get if they really tried to get it.
Yeah.
What they want is a number that's artificial, and then they don't even care anymore.
Right.
Doc, I see you're busting. You want to say something? I can do.
No, I'm listening. I was reading the chat. And my eyes itching, and I know you're not supposed to touch your face.
Oh my God! You know what? I've learned so many things through this. I don't get to go outside. Pandemic. I knew I touched my face a lot, but now it's like 12 to 15 times a minute sometimes. So I don't know how I don't have it. So if you don't see me next week, that's why. I want to say one more thing about podcasts. I already said it once. I want to say it again. My buddy Bill, sponsor of this channel. Check out this week's Magic of the Mouse podcast with special guest Lynn, who's right there up in the corner. And this Wednesday, the next episode, Josh, who's right down, there you go, right down there, talking about discussing Disney's Secret Society, the Society of Explorers and Adventurers. Today, he dropped a video, a relaxing day at the Magic Kingdom. I'm going to drop a link to his Spotify. Spotify is a great place for tunes, but it's also a great place.
Make sure it's my link to my podcast.
What's that?
I have some numbers to hit. I got to beat y'all. So everybody go watch my podcast on repeat.
Dang it. See, I'm stupid. I should have put a link to his podcast, specifically my episode.
No, watch mine.
Go past me, and now you're trying to pass him. So yeah, you know what? Never mind. Forget what I said. Go to watch the one episode that I'm on, or the other episode that I'm on, and skip out the Lynn one.
Thanks for hanging out, Neil. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, and you know what? That's a good place to dive in. So I'm not ending it right now, but thank you guys. Thank you everybody for being here. Thank you to the mods who we talked about. Thank you. Thank you to everybody who was at the chat before this and came to this one. And anyway, thank you for that. Sorry about that.
Stop it.
And thanks to Josh and thanks to Lynn, my co-host Lynn every week. But Josh, you're always welcome. I love your content. I love being your friend. But right now I'm going to tell you the thing I like best is your passion for creation. You're definitely an artist.
Yeah.
And I just appreciate knowing you and watching your content. And I'd be a fan if I didn't consider you a friend, but we are friends. And
likewise,
thanks for doing this, man. I love it. And I am glad you came back because I was freaking out when I had
I wasn't gone for good. I just
it was a long time. It was a long time. It was too long.
I'm proud.
Yeah. Proud?
I'm so proud. They're my partner channel. I'm so happy.
And what Mar says, changing the subject back. I'm taking my pill. Wifey talked me to suck something up my nose to get rid of these allergies because it's driving me crazy. And I've been doing better. But today I feel like I look like I'm a druggie. I don't know.
No, you're good.
Not
Josh,
not really.
Thank you so much. This was so much fun. This is an absolute blast. I know we did this one time quite a while back, but thank you so much for sharing all of your knowledge. And I am going to tap into that as your partner channel way more now. So watch out. But yeah, we appreciate you taking the time out of your Easter Sunday and sharing everything that you shared with us. And for everybody here, I hope that you absorbed and watched the replay, watch it again and again, and take notes, because that was amazing information. That just thank you so much for sharing.
A little insight baseball. At the end of the show every night, when it's just me and Lynn, I always ask some form of the question, and I won't ask it tonight. Did we provide value tonight? Do you think we provided any value? I'm not going to be asking that tonight. We clearly did. Josh, such good stuff. Canva, Adobe Illustrator, right? I want to make sure I'm saying the right one. Are the two things that you recommend? And
Adobe Illustrator is great, but don't get it over your head. It can be
very different levels of people. Like if you're more than the average, if you're leveled up, Adobe Illustrator is the place to go.
I'd still stick with Canva probly.
Oh, nice. See, I'm glad.
Unless you are a graphic designer, I don't know why you'd be listening to this if you are. Then you probably already use Illustrator or Corel.
Let me ask you this then: if I wanted to get to that level, if I wanted to get to the Josh level, is it years? Like you work on it 3 to 8 hours a day. I don't know what you do. I don't know your workflow, but I'm guessing I'm right somewhere in that world, right? 3 to 8 hours. So it's probably unlikely that I could get. I mean, they say you could be a worldwide expert with as little as an hour a day for 7 years, but an hour a day for 7 years is still a lot of freaking hours.
Well, the way I always say it to people, because in school you see people who came to art school, and everybody always wants to shoot for the stars, and I want to be a Disney animator, I want to design video game art. You get those people in art school, and you have to be a realist, just like with creating. And if that's something you want to dive into, sure, absolutely, you can find YouTube videos that help you along. There is a lot, but I will say it's easy to get overwhelmed. But even though you go to Berkeley to sing, doesn't mean you're a great singer.
Yeah,
you know,
that's good.
I'm a good singer in the shower, but no one's listening.
A lot of shower talk tonight, Lynn. Right? I feel like it.
That was off camera. Let's not bring that up.
Was it? Okay, I don't know. I'm not good at keeping secrets because I don't care. So if you have a secret, don't tell me because I don't care. All right. I think that's it. Anything you guys want to add? Anything you want to promote about your show? Everybody in chat, please get over to the Lynn Project. Please get over to Practically Perfect Parkhopping. Mods, I love you. Super chatters, I love you. People who are just hanging out in the background, ninja moding it, I love you. Happy Easter. Lady, gentlemen, what do you want to promote on your show? And then we'll say goodnight.
Go ahead, Lynn.
I have my checking in with the Lynn Project on Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Josh and I, my awesome partner channel right here.
That's me.
We go live every Saturday at 11 a.m. right after Beauty and the Beast, Eastern Standard Time. And this week it will be on my channel, and we will be drinking coffee, and we will definitely be contemplating things, and then look forward to Creator Talk next Sunday at 10:30. And that's as far as any vlogs coming out, I just have to wait and see. Make sure your bell is dinged so you get notified when I upload a new video.
Yeah, I like it. I could say the same thing about the vlog. I've got Magical Monday Mayhem tomorrow at 7 Eastern to kick off the Monday primetime streams. I'll be recording a podcast with Bill from Magic of the Mouse TV tomorrow, so look up for that on Wednesday. And then Coffee and Contemplation with Lynn on Saturday.
Nice.
So that's right. And spread positivity and don't stop learning.
Amen. Ooh, that's good. I should have went before that because that's a good place to end. But I did something a little different. So my buddy Rob over at TubeBuddy has hooked me up, and I saved this for the very end. So anybody who left, bummer for you, right? But if you here, I'm going to drop my link right here, and this is just to the download it. So that's for a free download. But if you email me, and I have five. So if you email me tonight and say you want a free month of TubeBuddy, it's the first level, I think, the $9 level. I don't even know what I'm talking about. But if you want an upgrade for a month, you got to email me. But I do have 5 of those to give out tonight. We'll see if we have them. Yeah, right. So there's only 20 of you left on YouTube. I can't see how many are on Facebook. I mean, I could, but I'm not looking over there. So if you want, so the link there is just for a download. I got to be honest with you. I've had 6 people who download it so far. I'd like to get to 250 because then if you buy it, they give you commission, so it's all the affiliate stuff. But if you email me, dolechat@gmail.com, I can give you a month for free because TubeBuddy freaking rocks. So if you want to, go ahead. Little gift for anybody who stayed till the end who's interested in that. And there you go. If nobody emails me, then that's cool too.
TubeBuddy's great.
TubeBuddy is great. I'm really I'm blessed to have made some connections over there in the last 3 weeks. They've provided unbelievable value to me. It's
And
unbelievable.
me.
They want, like, obviously they're a business, all right, but they want to help this community, and they've proven it to me in spades. I will be loyal to them forever now. I can tell you that, and they're giving me some stuff that I can give out, and it's going to get better. So I got 5 tonight. If you email me, and I did wait till the end on purpose. So anybody who was like really bought in. So if I get 0 emails, that's cool. If I get 5, that's cool. If you don't want the free upgrade, but you just want to download it for free, there's the link. I feel like I'm selling. I don't want to sell, so I'm going to shut up now. So that's it.
Thank you guys.
Sir, I will say, he is risen. That made you mad? I don't care. It's true. But I'm glad you're here. Love every single one of you. Go wash your hands. I think we're going to get some big news this week, nationally, and at least in my state. I think we're coming down, people. So stay positive. If you're starting to freak out, don't. I also think the stock market is rocking and rolling right now. And if Iger is in, and he is, I've seen 3 articles since you guys told me.
Yeah.
That's about stock prices and layoffs. But we'll find out more. Disney is on sale, and it might go on sale big this week. So just something to think about. All right. I think that's it. If you're in chat, you don't have to leave, but you can't stay here. Bye, everybody. Have a great night.
You guys.
Happy Easter.
Don't do it, Jeff.
My thing's